Sagittarius. Welcome to the Modern Spiritualist. My name is Raheem. Today we're going to look at April for you. This is, you can use it for Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, Rising, or North Node. I'm using the Albano weight spread. Really good spread, huge spread, and a lot of major arcana, so another key month for you, and it feels very vibrant. We've also got two catalyst energies from the Threads of Fate Oracle deck, so we'll talk about those first. Also, thank you for your patience. I know it's like April, it's like the first week of April. We're a week into April now, and I am a little bit later than usual. My dog died, and I had the coaching program to kind of unleash onto the world, so I was just really busy and grieving at the same time, so things got pushed back. But I'm glad you're here. I'm happy to be here, and we will look at April. So your catalyst energies, they are going to be the high note for this month. And so they thread through all the other cards. So if you get lost in process or you spiral throughout the month, you can kind of rely on the catalyst energies to bring you back to baseline and get you back on track. So I pulled two. We have the trust card and the surrender card in reverse. Let's talk about trust first. Scorpio just got this as well. This is about trusting yourself now above others. And I mean, Sagittarius always does that, I think. But, you know, the ways in which collectively we kind of absorb and internalize the world around us, I think you're just way past that. And so there's this, I think, feeling of recommitment to your process, which means trusting yourself as your own meter for what's right for you, first and foremost. And so it's sort of like sealing that contract or like renewing that contract for yourself and your own soul and your own heart, where you're saying, okay, I'm Sagittarius, right? I came here to do this work, whatever it is, and I'm going to do this work for myself and fuck anyone who wants to stop me, right? And I really do feel like you're kind of going into this month with a reinvigorated sense of self. Surrender reversed. Surrendering to yourself, first and foremost, instead of others. So instead of just allowing others to kind of determine your path for you or keep you stuck in some capacity, this is sort of like, no, the only surrender that's worth it to me is surrender to my own process, my own soul, and my own path, right? And so, I mean, really beautiful blend of energies here where you're kind of like reestablishing this trust within yourself and surrendering to yourself, to your highest good, your highest vibration, your evolution, right? And that mixed with the trust card is kind of like you trusting yourself to do what you need to do for you instead of, you know, giving other people that power. So really beautiful. Awesome. Moving into the Celtic Cross spread, we have the Ten of Swords. Scorpio also had this in the middle. Interesting. So if you have Scorpio in your chart, I guess go look at that. But yeah, so Ten of Swords reversed is at the center. And I love this in the reverse. It means you're moving on. I feel like you've already moved on. You're kind of pulling all the swords out of your back, maybe nursing the wounds a bit, but they're already on their way out. And so I feel like this is just kind of solidifying that, like, yes, you are moving on. The ways that the past has held you back is not going to dictate what happens now. You have closed out a lot of karmic cycles, and this is just a reminder that you can trust that there are better things ahead, okay? Because crossing that energy, we have the star, right? Sign of Aquarius. Uniqueness, innovation, right? What I love about the star energy is that if you look up in the sky and you see all these different stars in the sky, they all shine brilliantly in their own way, and they stay in their lane. They gave all the other stars permission to be what they are, and they stay far enough apart from each other, right? Boundaries. They stay far enough apart from each other that they don't get in each other's way. You know, they all have a right to shine, and they know that. And so that's what I'm feeling with the star card is, you know, you are coming into that power. You are stepping into your star energy. And there is space for you. There's space for you among 7.5 billion people and all the other beings, or, you know, everything else that's going on. There is space for you to shine. There's space for you to be who you want and need to be for yourself. And you get to be amazing. And it's not going to take anything away from anyone, you know, and if somebody says that to you, they're lying, right? So, you know, be the star. Allow yourself to be as big, vibrant, and beautiful as you are. Allow yourself to take up that space. And it's okay. You know, you're ruled by Jupiter. It's the biggest planet in our solar system. be big. You get to be, right? You're Sagittarius, so be big. Past affecting the present, we have the Two of Pentacles. You've gone through a lot of transformation and change in the past few months. You've been through a lot. You've leveled up a lot, more than once, right? And so this is just, you know, saying that you've, had to work to find a new balance for yourself, a better balance. Keeping what works, bringing in new things that are going to work, hopefully, letting go of things that were no longer working and just becoming a new person, becoming who you are now. It was a lot, and you did it. You managed to kind of balance everything, even if it, didn't feel totally stable, even if it felt a little chaotic. It's like you had it, you managed it, you were good to go, you did it. And so I think there's something to celebrate in that, of like all the work that you have already done on yourself is cause for huge celebration, and you should be proud of yourself. And that's really all I'm feeling from this. And the Two of Pentacles also, being a pentacle energy and earth energy, is kind of right at the start of that. You have Ace of Pentacles, goes up to the two, and then it kind of moves on. And so this is kind of saying that, you've done the preliminary work, and everything that happens now, I think it's going to come a little easier because you've already kind of jumped off the launch pad, so to speak, okay? In your foundation this month, sorry if you can hear that, that's just my rabbit. In your foundation, we have the Devil. This is encouraging you to look at habits that may not be serving you anymore. Not that they were always bad habits. Sometimes things just get out of hand, or they just overstay their welcome. So this isn't a judgment. This is more like you do need to take a look at your habits as they stand now and see which ones are kind of holding you back at this point. Because you are a new person, and you've brought in so much new energy, and you've recommitted yourself to your path in new ways, which means you're going to start taking action in new ways. And that means you need the energy available. So just look at everything that is taking up your energy right now, or directing your energy towards other things, and see, what can be moved. What can you kind of eliminate, and then free up the energy to then move towards something else. So it's really just practical than anything else. So look at that, what's not serving you, and what habits do you need to move away from? Sorry about the rabbit. Crowning you this month, we have Seven of Pentacles. So look at what has overgrown. I think I said this to you guys recently. It's just coming through for me pretty strongly again, of like, just because you put a lot of work into something before doesn't mean that you need to continue it. So if you've just, focused on a project that you thought was for you, or a job, or a relationship even that you thought was for you at the time, and maybe it was at the time, and you're just realizing it's run its course, like it's just not the right thing for you anymore, feel free to walk away. It's not energy wasted, it's just energy being reused for other things, and whatever you were doing here doesn't mean that it didn't benefit you at the time. It's just time to walk away, I think. Or at the very least, if you don't walk away, you need to redraw boundaries if this is a relationship, or if it's a habit, right? Where you need to kind of redirect some of the energy towards certain things, like not put as much work into this, or prune the hedges in some way, okay? This is just kind of saying that, you've been working towards something that just isn't creating that spark in you anymore. And so you need to find out why. Is it because you just need to move something about it, shift something, or change something, or do you just need to walk away, okay? It's paired with the Seven of Swords, so we have two sevens. That's 77. You can look up the angel number if you want. Seven of Swords reversed. Interesting. It's like you're keeping it a secret from yourself. There's something in the Seven of Pentacles that isn't working for you anymore, and it's like it's hidden from even you. So, but this being in your crown means that you're looking at it. So I almost feel a disconnect. Like, oh, Bastion, you're making it really hard to focus, dude. Oh, well. Yeah, something is sneaky about this. This is a sneaky card. Not that I always read it in a negative the way some people do, but, and I'm not necessarily feeling a negative. I'm just feeling something really, really sneaky. It feels like whatever this project was was actually a way for you to perpetuate some sort of old behavior or pattern that isn't serving you anymore. And it's like you need to be able to recognize what that pattern or habit is before you're able to actually recognize why this wasn't working. And so I think some of you might be hung up on the why. You know, why don't I feel strongly towards this anymore when before I did, or something like that. And it's just the answer is hidden from you right now. So I'm just trying to feel into what we can do about that. I think there's a certain degree of just needing to let go, of noticing that it's not working anymore and allowing that to be enough. So not perpetuating something just because you don't have all the information. It's okay not to have all the information. There's something within you, it feels maybe shadowy, like a shadow behavior or even ancestral. I'm feeling mostly shadow. Something that was like guided by a shadow behavior that just doesn't seem to have the same influence over you that it used to. And so you're just suddenly not interested in something you put a lot of work in, and you don't know why. And that's because the energy is just gone. And so that's okay. Just move on. I think just move on. You don't have to know why. You don't have to explain anything to anybody either. Like back into the self-trust, self-surrender thing. You don't need to answer to anybody. And if that's why you feel like you need to know the answer, then push back on that. You don't need to know the answer. All you need to know is that this isn't for you anymore. And that's it. Just walk away. New circumstance this month. We have the Hermit and the High Priestess. Let's look at the Hermit first. So in recommitting to your path and recommitting to yourself, means you may need to take some time for yourself. And I'm not seeing social isolation here or anything like that. So, you know, you don't have to go to the extreme. But I think just giving yourself some time and solitude to work out what you really want rather than, you know, what other people have put on you. And that may just take some parsing through. You may need to really dig kind of deep to find out what underlying motivations to get you to do things aren't actually your motivations. They might be someone else's, and they could just be really, really sneaky, okay? So you just need to take some time to really get clarity about that, and also allow yourself to take time. You don't have to have all the answers right now. This can be a process, okay? But just remember, take some time for yourself, sporadically at least throughout the month, to re-engage with your own process and figure out what it is that you really want independently of anybody else in your life, okay? Paired with the High Priestess reversed, answers are coming to light. Things are revealing themselves to you. It seems pretty deep. So for some of you, it could really be some big like moments of enlightenment this month of like, oh, this thing when I was 6 years old totally motivated, you know, this behavior, and I've been doing it ever since, or, you know, things that are really deep like that. It seems like you're really becoming aware of things on a very nuanced level within your own process. And so in recommitting to yourself, it's like nothing can hide from you. You know, secrets will be revealed, and all of them ultimately will give you the clarity that you need to move forward in your own way, okay? In your own way. I feel like I'm kind of blurring words together today. I'm having a hard time. Hard time focusing because there's a lot of energy coming through, and environmentally too. Okay, your ego this month, we have the Fool paired with the Ace of Swords. Let's look at the Fool first. Yeah, I mean, obviously a new start. And the nice thing about this new start is it's really just, it's a completely open field, because it's just about you. It's about your recommitment to you. And so it's not that you have to really do anything if you don't want to. It's just about reclaiming your freedom, the ability to do whatever you want to do for you. And so it really is, I love how, you know, this is such a classic Fool energy, the way he's kind of standing on the cliff, and he's packing very, very light, didn't take a lot of baggage with him, you know. He's got this white rose, he's got the sun behind him, and his arms are just open. He's just ready to be free. It's totally the surrender energy and the trust energy. I really feel like these combined in this, pretty much the same. So, you know, you're the Fool again, in the most beautiful way, just ready to explore and to be who you are and to discover. Okay, so this is you, this is what you're thinking about, which is beautiful. Paired with the Ace of Swords, you're just kind of asking yourself, what do I want to do next? This is embracing the limitless potential that you have available to you right now, that you really could choose to believe what you want to believe, you know, create the worldview that you want to create for yourself, Decide what works for you and what doesn't, decide what is true, decide what comes next, and then just kind of move towards it. And this Ace of Swords is just saying you're kind of playing with ideas right now, and that's okay too. If you want to just stay in this energy of embracing this new you, then do it. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think trying to make something else happen when you've just become who you are is kind of antithetical to being who you are. So just be. If you want to just be, I think that's a beautiful thing. In your environment this month, we have the Ten of Cups reversed. I think it kind of feels like because you've done so much beautiful work that you're, kind of expecting things to change overnight, and they might not. So just keep that in mind too. Is like it takes work on the physical material level to make change happen, and because on the frequency level, on our mental, emotional, spiritual state, when we're going through big change, it's so tangible to us because we're in it. We can feel it, and the way that it kind of lifts the baggage from us so that we can see things more clearly and feel more light, feels so intense and strong and beautiful. And then we kind of come into the external world, into the world thinking, I'm going to make all these changes, it's going to be great. And then, we realize as we kind of come out of our reverie, right, that things are pretty much the same and on the physical material level. And so what's important to understand about that is that the 3D world is just vibrating at a denser level. It's slower. It takes, it's instantaneous. Thinking about a guitar, for instance, is an instantaneous thought. You're thinking about a guitar. You can see it probably, you can hear it maybe. But making a guitar, you have to gather the materials. You have to do all this work, right? That's the nature of the physical material world. And so just remember that you're always a few steps ahead energetically of what's happening in your life. Life has to play catch up to get to where you are. And if you change a lot, like I know I do, I'm just constantly transforming myself. And other people that are in process are as well. So I know that some of you are like that. When you're constantly changing like that and constantly expecting the world to keep up, there can be a bit of a disconnect. And so to kind of reform that barrier is to just remember that the way that you're, perceiving yourself in terms of operating in the world, which has this linear perception of time, right, is that you have to cultivate the patience to let things catch up and just set your intentions and put in the work and trust that they will show up. So the Nine of Cups, it's the wish fulfillment card in the upright, and the reverse is just saying there's a delay. And I think it's just important to remember that things aren't going to happen instantaneously. They take work. You've done a lot of the soul work, and you just have to allow life to kind of catch up to where you are vibrationally, okay? And things will change eventually. They will naturally because you're different. And so just having the trust, right? Cultivating the trust to understand that it's just going to take time, but that it is going to happen. I think that will keep you in a better space. Your hopes and fears this month, we have the Lovers and the Queen of Swords. Let's start with the Lovers. This is pretty literal. I'm feeling for many of you is just wanting to share yourself with someone. Now this could be needing to deepen a relationship that you already have to a partner, probably an intimate partner, or it could be finding someone new. I do have to mention that it mirrors the devil. So if you have intimacy patterns that don't feel like they are the best for you at this moment in time, then you may need to kind of address, what's the addictive pattern and how do I move past it in terms of your relationship to intimacy and being with people in that way. That only rings true for some of you. I think others of you, it's fine. You're just coming out into a new playing field. You're a different person and you're ready to attract different partners in your life. And, that is, I think, a wonderful thing. So that's all I'm feeling there. Paired with the Queen of Swords, you just don't want to jump into anything anymore. I feel like, maybe there was a habit of kind of just grabbing onto anybody who came along until you got bored, maybe, or just not really feeling vulnerable enough to commit to someone in a real way, or just totally flying by the seat of passion, right, which, is pretty immutable. It changes. And so the Queen of Swords is kind of saying that you are in a space where you want to think a little bit more critically about long-term partnership and what you want out of that, what that looks like, you know, and that could be, is it monogamous or polyamorous, or polysexual? In what way? What are the boundaries for me? And who do I ultimately want to be with? And how do I pursue them? And who do I need to be to accept that into my life, right? I think you're just asking yourself really critical questions that I think are really going to set you up for success in the long run. So I'm happy with that as well. Outcome this month, we have the Five of Swords paired with the King of Wands. Let's look at the Five of Swords. Reversed. Moving away from thought patterns that don't serve you. And it really, I'm getting the same feeling from the Five of Swords as I got from the Ten of Swords, whereas it's like already kind of out the door. Okay, so because this is Jupiter energy, Sagittarius, expansion, and you're in a place of great expansion right now, kind of limitless expansion. You're just outgrowing your own mind, you know. The small self just can't hold the structure of your body anymore. You're too vibrant, you're too expansive, and so it's all just kind of falling away. I think it's almost absurd, maybe some of the thoughts that are flying across your mind right now because they feel so out of line with who you are now. Just remember that they're stragglers, and do what you need to do to continue to play cleanup and you know, remove all of these thought patterns that aren't serving you anymore. They really are out the door. I don't think it's going to be hard. It's paired with the King of Wands, which is a fire energy, so Sagittarian energy. And it's you kind of setting a new precedent for yourself. Who am I? What do I stand for? What do I believe in? What do I let into my life? What do I not let into my life? You know, you're really just kind of setting a boundary. And not just a boundary, but yeah, precedent is the right word. You're setting a precedent for who you are now. It's like you're seeding an intention. Like, this is who I am. This is what I stand for. And I like that the King is sitting, as opposed to like a Knight of Wands or something. It kind of mirrors what I was saying with the Fool here, where like you can just be. You have the opportunity here to just celebrate yourself and be who you want to be this month. And fuck anything else. You know, do what you want to do, obviously, but don't put pressure on yourself, because the rest will come, right? Nine of Cups reversed. It will come. It's not time yet. It will come. Maybe just kind of rest on your laurels and celebrate, you know, who you are now as much as you want to. But I really just feel this month, do what you want. Do what you want this month. Do what feels good. Enjoy yourself. And this King of Wands is just kind of sitting on his throne, right? And just kind of taking in the landscape, kind of like the Fool is here, surveying the land and deciding. But what I like about the King of Wands is it's a very decisive, very masculine, very, you know, kind of fist on the table energy of like, this is how it's going to be, right? And I love this kind of full circle here of trusting yourself, surrendering to your process, right? And then, you know, surrender inside, kind of being the opposite to this here, but related, where, you know, because of the inside surrender that you were able to do this month, now you can kind of stand opposite to that in terms of facing the world around you and saying, okay, I don't surrender, right, to all of these things that didn't serve me. I'm setting my own standard, my own precedent, my own boundaries, and I decide what happens next, right? It's being the king. It's being in control. So, you know, surrender to the inside, be the king moving forward on the outside, and, you know, be that decisive, assertive person that you need to be to start, you know, initiating the things that you really want to see happen for your life and for yourself, okay? So awesome, huge month for stepping into your power. It looks like you're going to have a really good month, a really fun month. I really don't feel too many spiral moments, except for maybe some like limiting beliefs or negative self-talk that's kind of already out the door. Needing to make a decision about this Seven of Pentacles project that you're just not feeling anymore. And, you know, having some patience, and then maybe being a little bit diligent about the behaviors that you don't want to take into your future. You know, what do you kind of need to move away from or redirect now to ultimately serve you moving forward? So yeah, good. If you like this video, hit like, subscribe if you want to see the next video in May, and I will see you guys then. And also schedule something with me in the box below if you would like to. And otherwise, yeah, take care, have a good month, and I love you guys. Bye.